Hey guys, so today we're going to jump into the equipment guide video for LF Android 13. At this point, I still have only done the initial showcase on the character. I do have him at 14 stars now, so we can go ahead and jump into the 14-star video. I've not recorded that one yet. I just didn't have enough time to get through as many videos as I wanted to yesterday. Still kind of recovering from jet lag and just long hours of travel. So I'm just getting to this a little bit late, but I'll go through what I think are probably some of the best equips for 13, and I'll also talk about I think the best way to build the character at the same time, because that's going to go hand in hand with what I think the best equips are for the character. So the first thing I want to do is what we usually do on these videos is I want to go through some equips that have no specific conditions, don't require that you use specific characters or tags on the team with this character, and then we'll jump into the equips that have some conditions associated with them. The one thing I will say about this character in particular is most of the good equips for this character, you are going to have some sort of condition associated with those equips. So it depends on the team you're going to be using. So I'll just go through everything. And then depending on if you want to run this character on androids, on movies, on powerful opponent, or maybe simply just leader slot on like some random team, like you could run this character leader slot on GT. I don't know, I'm just making it up. But you could, you could do this guy and then the two Namek Ultras. I guess you could do that, right? But let's see what we're working with here in terms of equipment. So for equips that don't require any kind of condition at all on them, there really isn't much, to be honest, with this character. The only one I'd really say is worth mentioning here is this one. And this is not an equip I would really say I would be dying to run on this guy, because this guy has so many other good options. But if you really don't have much to work with on this character, this could be an equip that you just, because this is available from the Ultimate Equipment Collection. This is when Ultra Turles dropped. This is the equip that came out with him. This could be a decent like filler option for this character if like you're in the process of rolling for other good equips and you just don't have anything else accessible to you. You could kind of just slap this on 13, throw him on any team, and this will just give him a bunch of stats to jumpstart him a little bit on those setups. This got some good stuff here. You have a lot of just raw stats being pumped into the character from this. In total, you're getting 38% to base blast attack, 30% to base strike attack, and then 12% to health restoration. So in terms of 13, this is a character that is a support type character. He's, he could do decent damage depending on how you build him. He is slightly strike leaning in terms of his stat spread offensively, but I would say this character is relatively even in terms of his strike and blast stats. So you can really build him to go either way in terms of what his offenses look like. You could throw him on a blast centric team. You could throw him on a strike centric team, and he should perform decently well. He does have slightly marginally higher strike than blast. So technically speaking, he will perform a little better on a team that's strike oriented, but you could certainly make this character work on a blast team. So this does give slightly higher blast attack. I don't really think it's that big of a deal, but again, this is more of one of those equips that you kind of use on the character to buy time to get yourself some better equips for the character. So I'll mention this first, and that really is the only equip I would say for this character that has like absolutely no conditions associated with it. The first equip we're going to talk about that does have conditions, and we got like, 8 to 10 equips to talk about here, is going to be the one that just awakened yesterday as part of this week's update. We have awakened Dr. Giroux's computer. Once again, this is an equip that you can roll either strike or blast in the first slot. So if you want to run this character on a blast team, you're going to want to use the blast version of this. If you want to run this character on a strike team, you want to use the strike version of this. And then in slot 2, he's getting 15% to base defenses. And then slot 3, again, this has a condition on it, but it's pretty easy to get. All you have to do is run one more Android battle member, and then you'll have access to 10% to pure both defenses, which is pretty good. So overall, a very solid equip for Android 13. And again, you just roll slot 1, depending on what kind of team you're going to use them on. The next equip we're going to talk about is actually the co-op equip that came out yesterday. I have yet to roll this up to the spot where I want it to be, but this is also a pretty powerful one. This one's pretty specific. The one we just looked at was just it requires you have another android on the same team as this character. This one, not only do you have to be an android and a Saga from the movies character to use this, you have to, for slot 3, have to have another Android and Movies character on the team. So you basically have to be running 2 movie androids to get the full effects of this, aka you have to run either 14 and 15 or the Gammas. Those are the only relevant movie android characters you could run here. I mean, maybe they'll Zenkai like Magenta or something, and then that would actually fulfill the conditions for this. But this is pretty good. In total, this would give 10% HP in slot 1, and then once again, you can choose in slot 2 whether or not you want to roll Strike or Blast. And then slot 3, you're going to be getting 15% to Pure Strike and Blast if you have that condition on this. So this is a really good equip as well. This is one I would say where if you have the condition fulfilled on this, you pretty like this is like the first equip I'm putting on the character. Probably. All right. Then the next one we could talk about here is actually yet another equip that dropped yesterday. Yesterday they dropped a lot of equips for the Androids team. Right, including the Gamma unique equip, but this one is Undetectable Monsters. This is available from the new event, the Android event. You farm up those currency items, then you can exchange for this from the exchange shop. This one is pretty solid as well. This one also requires that you have another Android character on the same team. So once again, same condition as that Awakened Dr. Zero's computer one. 15% of base defenses in slot 1. Now this one, you don't actually have an option to choose between Blast and Strike in slot 2. But if you are running the Android team, then you're going to want probably Blast anyway, because the team is more Blast oriented. And then in slot 3, you are getting 15% to Pure Blast. So pretty good. This is more of, I would say, a damage oriented equip, but you are getting at least the defenses in slot 1. So it's, semi-balanced, I would say, between offense and defense, but this is a solid equip all around. I think for the most part, if you're running an Android's team, you're probably going to want to equip this on the character, like all the characters that you're using. Probably. All right, the next one is going to be the Legion of Despair. This was the PvP equip during the Metal Cooler PvP season. Actually, I don't think you can get this right now because that's not available yet in the Z Metal shop, or the Equipment Metal shop. But this is pretty good if you want to build Android 13 defensively. Again, I have not used Android 13 at 14 stars yet, but I'm pretty sure after I'm fully done testing the character out, arts boosted video, Zenkai buffed video, different teams for the character, I think, as of now, what my conclusion will be is it's probably going to be best to build this guy fully defensively, but that's going to be at 14 stars. And the reason for that is because you want this character to be as bulky as possible. Once he's revived, you can take full advantage of his sub count reduction, his healing, his all the things he's providing to the team in terms of his supporting capabilities. He's going to be able to leverage those abilities much more effectively if he's bulkier and able to eat hits, because that's going to be the best way and easiest way to build up his gauge and allow for continuous sub count reduction and swapping and healing. So that is what I'm thinking for this character, but I would probably say if you have this character at lower stars, it might not be the best idea to build him defensively, because usually when characters are lower stars, you can't really leverage the defensive stats as efficiently, and then you're not going to get the benefit as much from equips like these that are giving you pure defenses to leverage the base defenses you have already. But if you do have the character at higher stars, you could start thinking about potentially building the character fully defensively to once again leverage those supporting abilities, like I said. And if that's the case, this is a very, very good equip for the character. He's getting 20% to blast defense, 15% to strike defense, 12% health, and then 15% to pure strike defense. And the condition is just having another Movies character on the team. So you run this character next to Metal Cooler, you run this character next to Zenkai Red Cooler, and this could be a pretty good equip for 13 to just have him be a bit more bulky. So decent equip here. Unfortunately, you can't get this right now. So whenever they add this to the Equipment Metal shop, which will, who knows when that's going to be. It's probably going to be in like a few months, but this is a solid option, I think, for 13 if you want to build him down the defensive path. The next equip is going to be specifically if you're running Ultra Cell, which I think is still a really solid addition to the Android team. You can run this Too Bad 16 equip, which is a co-op equip, so you're going to have to go into the co-op dual coin shop to get this if you don't have it already. This one is giving 15% to base blast in slot 1, 15% to base blast defense in slot 2, and then in slot 3, again, if you're running next to Ultra Cell, who's a ranged cell character, you are getting 15% to both pure offenses, which is pretty good. So this is more of an offensive equip, but this is a lot of damage coming from this one. So if you want to build this guy next to Ultra Cell, I feel like this could be a good equip. Usually when I use Ultra Cell and I have this equip up and available to the other characters on the team, I usually just almost always use this because that slot 3 condition, or that slot 3 effect, 15% of both offenses, that's really, really strong. Okay, another one you could take a look at as well if you're running him on a movies team is the Kamehameha. This is also a co-op equip. This was actually, I think, when LF Yellow Blue Gogeta got his Zenkai Awakening. This was the co-op equip for that season. Now this one has 2 different conditions on it. Slot 2 requires you have a God Key character to get the pure blast attack, and then slot 3 requires you have another movies character to get the 12% of pure strike attack. I think as long as you have one of these 2 conditions fulfilled, you're probably good to run this. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to have the movies condition fulfilled as opposed to the God Key condition, at least if you're running 13. But I think if you're running this character next to at least one other movies character, this is probably good enough to run in most cases. You're getting 12% to pure and base strike attack. You're still getting the 12% to base blast from this, even if you're not getting the pure blast. And then you're also getting the 25% to base strike defense. So it's still pretty good, but it depends on the team build that you're using. So this could be a good option for 13 as well. We also have this down here, which requires that you run a full Android team. This is Cell in his perfect form. This is another co-op equip. I think this dropped with Perfect Cell, not Perfect Cell, Perfect Form Cell, the purple Perfect Form Cell. This is the post 5th anniversary LF character, the one that self-destructs when he dies. This one's pretty good for an offensive-based equip on the Androids team. You're getting 12% to pure and base offenses if you have a full Androids team, and then you're getting 10% to blue card damage and health restoration. So just a solid equip. Again, I don't know if you have access to like every equip in the game. This is probably not an equip I would prioritize over some other ones for this character, but if you're running a full Androids team and you just kind of have this could add a lot of damage to 13. So this could be a solid option for him on the full Android setup. Then the next one is this one down here, which is a very old equip. Like this, it's crazy how old this equip is. But if you guys see, I think it might have been, I don't remember which showcase it was. Was it? I think it was the Gamma showcase actually, where I used Blue 17 on a full Androids team. I actually I still use this on Blue 17. And you notice that it really does make a difference, especially when we're tanking Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's blast attacks. Like, yeah, Blue 17 is type advantage, but I mean, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is able to tear through characters that have type advantage, but my 17 is eating those blasts. And I think a lot of that has to do with the slot 3 on this being so strong. 18% to pure blast defense. That's a lot. That is a lot. Then it's giving a lot of health. 12.5% is a lot of HP for just like an awakened equip like this. And then 16.5% to base offenses in slot 1. This is still a very solid equip. If I'm running a full Android team, I'm seriously considering just running this on 13. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat this, honestly. If you're running a full Android setup, this is a good equip for sure. So you're running a full Android team, this might be one of the first equips I put, honestly, on 13. It's really, really good still, especially for the current meta, because there's a lot of blast characters. Full Power Frieza, I don't think 13 is going to be sitting in there and just tanking Full Power Frieza, even with this equip on, but this could help him withstand some of those hits, and certainly versus Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, this equip can really, really help him tank those blast attacks, so this could be a really good option for 13 on a full Android setup. Okay, and then the next one, this is more of a specific one as well. This is the Garlic Jr. This is also a co-op equip. This is when Garlic Jr. came out. This one is actually like almost the complete opposite of what we've been talking about for the past few equips. This is a pure offensive equip. This requires you either be a powerful opponent or a movies character, which of course 13 is both of those things. Here's the issue with this one. The second slot requires that you be a movies character, requires that you have requires that you have a movies character and a regen character. So that's going to be tough to do. The only character that I think fits that bill that is like, you know, kind of runnable right now is Metal Cooler. I haven't used Metal Cooler next to 13. I think Metal Cooler should look significantly better next to 13 because 13 is providing a lot of what Metal Cooler wants. But I don't know. Metal Cooler is just so undertuned. It's just crazy. But Metal Cooler does fulfill that condition, and he also does fulfill the condition in slot 3 as well, where you have to be a movies character and a powerful opponent. I mean, technically 13 fulfills that himself, but Metal Cooler really is the only one that's kind of fulfilling that second slot for now. But in total, this is giving a lot of offenses. You are getting 22% to base offenses and then 12% to pure offenses from this. That's a lot of damage. So if you want pure damage on a team where you're just running this character on movies, this could be a good equip for Android 13. And then the last equip we're going to talk about is this one right here, the Overwhelming Difference in Power. Once again, this is also a co-op equip. This dropped, I believe it was the co-op season with Ultra Broly getting his Platinum equip. But this is a really, again, if you have a high star 13 and you want to go down the path of building him almost exclusively defensively, this is a very, very strong equip for him. 10% health and health restoration in slot 1 is insane. And then slots 2 and 3, you're getting 15% to base and 12% to pure defenses. All you need is a movies character and a powerful opponent character besides 13, which, you know, shouldn't be that bad. Again, Metal Cooler actually fulfills these conditions. Red Zankai Cooler fulfills these conditions. So yeah, I think this could be a real option for 13. And in fact, I think I actually am going to be using this for 13 in the 14-star showcase. So this is a strong equip if you want to go down the path of just building the character purely on a defensive, on the defensive angle for him. And that's pretty much it. Again, you'll notice that pretty much every single equip that I talked about in this video, besides one, has some kind of condition attached to it. Either it's run the character next to an Android character, run him next to 2 other Android characters, run him next to a powerful opponent character, run him next to a movies character. So a lot of these equips really are going to depend on the team that you're using for him. And even beyond that as well, a lot of these equips, including like this one right here, including this one right here, give you the option to choose between the offenses, blast or strike. So even more so than just tag wise, you know, what are you running this character on Androids? Are you running him on movies? They want you to also choose, are you running him on a blast movies team? How about a strike movies team? So that also does matter as well. So at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to the exact team build you're using for him. But you have a lot of good options for this character. I think a lot of good options were dropped for this character yesterday when he dropped, because they probably looked at his equipment options and they were like, he could probably use some better ones. So there's a lot you can choose from the list here in terms of good equips for the unit. Let me know down below what equips you are going to be using for 13. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one.